Hello and welcome back to an Answer Me video. Today, we're continuing on our journey with graphing. And today we're going to look at how we can turn an equation into a graph. Okay, so let's say we're given an equation such as y equals x plus 3. Where do we begin? This seems so confusing to begin with. So, to understand what we must do, we need to look back at what this is actually telling us. So what this equation is telling us is that for every x value, there is going to be a corresponding y value. This means that if I put an x value into this equation, I should receive a y value. Now, this is important because what this means is that given an equation such as this, if I create a table of values and I write x equals -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, I can then find the value of y when x equals -2, when x equals -1, when x equals 0, and so on. So when x equals -2, y equals 1. When x equals -1, y equals 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. Therefore, if I graph what this would look like, what I'm now being asked to graph are the points -2, 1, -1, 2, 0, 3, 1, 4, and 2, 5. Where did I get these? Well, they are these points here. Okay, so this part here tells us that x equals -2 and y equals 1. And that is a point that we can plot. So if we go -1, -2, -3, and so on, and 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3, -4, 5, so on, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then what we can go is we can plot -2, 1, -1, 2, 0, 3, 1, 4, 2, 5. And in the end, it should form a straight line. Now, I've created a bit of a dodgy graph here, a Cartesian plane and graph, but the idea stands true. That when I plot these points on a Cartesian plane, I will end up drawing this equation's graph. So what did I do? I created a set of values. I then found random values of x. So I just chose these values of x because they were neat. And then I found y values for each of the x values that I chose. Okay, so next time you see an equation, I want you to think, okay, let's have a look and think, what numbers could I plot here? You can go 2, 1, 0, -1, -2, -3. Make sure you have both negative and positive numbers. Well, negative and positive, this is a bit in the middle, but we won't talk about that. So just choose random values of x of your liking and find the y values that correspond. Now, why don't we plot a graph that is a little bit harder? Why don't we plot y equals x squared? Okay, so let's do the same thing we did in the equation before. We write x, y, like that, and then we go -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh. So you'll see why I'm doing such a large sample very soon. But the reason is because this is a quadratic. If you don't know what that is, go and check it out in one of my other YouTube videos. I've got 2 or 3 videos about quadratics. They play a really important role in maths. But back to this. So I've chosen a set of values for x here. So I've chosen quite a large group of them because if you understand quadratics, then you'll know I'll be forming a parabola shape. And so I will need lots of dots to do that. Now, when x equals -5, y equals 25. Now, why do two negative numbers form a positive number? Well, -5 times -5, which is the same as -5 squared, is positive 25. So two negative numbers will always produce a positive number. So let's see, 25, 16, 9, 4, 1, 0, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. Now you're probably seeing a trend here. They're repeating each other. And that is very much the case. Because when you square it, it doesn't matter if a number is negative or positive. It'll end up being exactly the same. Now, for this one, I'll plot a better graph. There we go. I'll plot this. Okay, we'll plot. We need to go up to 25, so let's plot. Just missed out. Let's just drag this up a little bit. There we go. Okay. Then on this axis, we'll go -2, -4, -6, -8. But it doesn't really matter down here. On the x-axis, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. Okay. So when x equals -5, y equals 25. When x equals 4, y equals 16. When x equals 3, y equals 9. Plotted these in the wrong spot. 25, there we go. 4 is 16. Yes. 3 is 9. 2 is -2 is 4. -1 is 1. And 0 is 0. Then I go back. 1. 2 squared is 4. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16. 5 squared is 25. Now, if we plot this, it'll form a parabola shape. There we go. A nice parabolic shape. So, if your teacher then asks, gee, what is the value of x going to be at 4? we can go to our graph and go, okay, 4 of the x value means that the y value is going to have to be 16. And if your teacher goes, what about -3? You can go, okay, -3 on the x value is 9 on the y-axis. So what we did here is we plotted these points and treated them as individual points and then drew a line between them. This allows us to both extrapolate and interpolate. Thank you so much for watching. Please go to answerme.com. The link will be in the description to practice graphing different types of lines. And please don't forget to like and subscribe, and go and watch my videos about linear lines and quadratic lines if you want to get to know those types of lines. See you there.